Hello, everyone. Midwest F1 League is back, and as you can see, we're in F-Ban. I had to do that. It's coming down to the wire here. Division 1 was a must this evening, as we have to keep on board with as much as we can with this championship battle. How close is that championship battle? As close as all can be. 7 points separates Ryan Rods and Scornsy, and Edwin and Raceday are still very, very close. I got automatically put in spectator mode. Okay, good. But anywho, I mean, with 2 races left to decide it, Jacko, like, can you really even lean either way between these top 2 drivers?
Between the top two, certainly not, because there's over 200 points available to them. So anything going wrong for either can put them even down to 4th. Like, I think that's about 55 points covering them. So say something happens similar to last time out in Singapore, you could see race day, catching Ryan. If Ryan is last, with rear wing damage, like Scornsy's sort of suffered last time, and race day wins, that's closed up, and that's the biggest gap there is between the top 4. So it's unpredictable. It depends really on if all of them have clean races. You would imagine it's between the top 2, but I don't think you can guarantee that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to count out Edwin as well. I mean, the guy has just shown so much form. He did get bumped off the podium last week with a penalty, giving him Bacon that result there. So I'll pull up all of the results we've had so far this season. Got Palmer. Is that a 1? I'm pretty sure he's whatever, any him. Got Palmer and got Palmer got 1. Yeah, race day's 4th podium. That's what I'm looking for. Bacon's 2nd podium now, as he's found some proper form in the second half of the season. But things are just so very tight between these drivers.
Yeah, it looks like Bacon can really claim to be a street track specialist with success in Saudi Arabia and Singapore. Spain, not so much of a street track whatsoever. It's one of the most established tracks that there is. But still, there's always possibilities to see Bacon pick up a 3rd or even 4th podium by the end of the season.
Yes, and we have Ryan Rods coming down the pit straight, starting his first hot lap. If you want to jump on board with him, you can take us around Spain.
Absolutely. DRS is going to be open for the long run, all the way to turn 1 and into this chicane. You really want to avoid that left curb at turn 2. Can send you into a spin, and there is a wall there beckoning if you make that error. Sweeping through the right-hander of turn 3 and then 4. There's a lot of emphasis on the front left tyre, and that was actually the rears not cooperating with the Mercedes here, and the time is probably going to be gone. I don't know if I'd complete this lap, maybe set a banker, but the lap time is certainly not going to be pole.
Do you want to jump on board with Rosie? I think he's just behind him on a hot as well.
Okay, here's Matt Rosie then, and we've joined for this second chicane, which is also very tricky, very easy to invalidate, and now through Campsa, one of the most terrifying corners on the track. Does he take it flat? Quite possibly, but I think he went and invalidated. So
oh goodness,
that was right on the border of what was acceptable.
Arrow's gone. Edwin. Edwin's the next one. We're gonna get around this.
All right. Yeah. I found Edwin. Okay, he's approaching. Well, he's in the 3rd sector already, through Bank Sabadell and now into Europe Car. He's approaching the chicane, which is probably going to be removed in a few games' time, which is nice. And now this final corner, which should be flat, certainly in the dry. He doesn't use all the track on the exit, but will cross the line to take pole for the moment, and 9/10 clear of his teammate who made that error in Sector 1, but did set the lap time.
Yeah, and Scavney came over as well, but he must have had some proper difficulties, as does Shelley the Turtle. Frenchie's back up in Division 1 this week as well. Cake is in.
I should say that Ryan made that mistake in the side of Sector 2, not Sector 1. My bad.
I mean, there's a lot of mistakes going on that first lap, so I'm sure yours will just get swept under the rug as well. Scornsy going 3rd as it stands. Edwin still holding. Got Palmer with a good start so far in 2nd as we sit so far. Lancy putting in everyone's just not getting it this first time around. I mean, everyone's on the struggle bus.
I think Lanzi was actually potentially held up there by another car on a hot lap, which is unfortunate because sometimes that happens if you start a bit too close. and Lanzi only gets 8th out of that one.
So yeah, a lot of these guys are going to be in the pit. Looks like someone has spun out around 14 or so, maybe 13. Kind of brought himself into 14 there. Hoxid is going for another attempt here. He did earlier have a mistake in his past one.
Bit of a sideways moment there through, what turn would that have been? 10, I think, for Cake.
Now,
I don't think it was as costly as Ryan's, but it still won't be great. Sorry to interject. What was that?
If this, I was just gonna say, if this race is going to turn out any bit like the way qualifying is for the first 3 minutes, then we're in for a doozy. And between these top 4 guys, it's just about avoiding chaos, because it's just, yeah, everyone's having on the struggle bus.
It seems slippery.
Yeah, very.
I don't know if that's this session in particular. Of course, in qualifying, the track will grip up as the time passes. But it did look like the rear of some of these cars is not fully stable for a couple of people, which is going to be conducive for a bit of a wild race, if that's the truth.
Yeah, and Edwin's time is standing right now, but I imagine we're going to see someone break the 16 mark, maybe even the 16.5. I'm assuming so, but I mean, it's looking quite dangerous so far.
For sure, for sure.
Seems Rosie's coming out again here.
Yeah, okay, Matt is approaching turn 1. You want to put that left wheel over the curbs on the entry. Oh, that's a risky way of taking turn 2, but it pays off. If you can make that work in qualifying, it's a good idea, but I don't think I'd use that line in the race for fear of spinning the car to the left. Sector 1 is purple, but again, in 17th, sometimes that is incorrect data. And now through this downhill left, it's very easy to lock up at that turn. And through the middle of the lap, this looks pretty good so far from the McLaren. Flowing through that middle part of the lap. And now again, we take Campster flat. Yes, and this time we get away with it, not invalidating on the exit, which was right on the line last time we were on board with this McLaren. An awkward turn that was remodeled a couple of seasons ago. Used to be a hairpin with a bit of a kink up the hill. And I'm not sure it's actually improved the racing, because I think it was a better overtaking spot previously. However, that change has been made, and that looked like a pretty strong last sector too. We'll see if this goes top 5. I'd imagine it will. Indeed, 3rd place.
Yeah, just ahead of his teammate there. And we've seen Matt Rosie do it before. He just kind of sneaks in. I mean, I say sneaks in, but we know how fast he is, and can just steal a pole out of nowhere. So we'll see if that can be had once again this evening.
It's certainly never a surprise to see Matt do well in qualifying, at least, if not the race as well. Certainly a race winner in Division 1 in the past.
Yeah, he has beaten these top guys just out of pace on a couple of different occasions, but it's all about putting it all together, and Smith Pell, unfortunately, around turn 4 cannot, and is able to stay out of the way from the Alpha Tauri coming around, but he's going to be hard done by with the Williams, I believe, of Arrow. We'll get on board with Arrow, and he has to avoid him a little bit, and it looks like he actually just chalks up the lap after that.
Scornsey had caught Arrow a lot in that first sector, so I'm not even sure that Arrow was actually on the lap.
Okay.
Scornsey is minutely down currently on his previous lap. I don't know if not lap traffic, but just traffic was in his way at all. But we'll see a sector split as he approaches the braking zone for the next turn, and he is now up on his time, albeit by a very small margin. Needs to find more time in this final sector to improve beyond his teammate. Although it's looked like a very calm, collected lap here, which is it bodes well for the race at least, even if it's not going to be pole.
Yeah, entering turn 9, he just breaks in.
Doesn't. Tries not to finish it.
I was going to say, entering turn 9, he kind of dipped his tires onto the grass. Maybe wasn't as ambitious on the entrance.
I mean, if you exit that chicane and you're like half a tenth down, or you don't necessarily need to complete the lap. You're not going to find that in one turn where there's no braking. So you may as well enter the pits at that point. There goes Edwin improving into the 16s, though.
Yeah. Edwin really trying to bring himself into this championship battle. I mean, of course, a mistake from either of the top two drivers just brings him that much closer. What's he? He's separated by 36 points. So, yeah, I mean, out of the top 10 finish from the top two guys and a proper finish from Edwin there, that could definitely bring him right into a 3-horse battle going into the final race.
Absolutely. And pole wouldn't hurt. That's worth a point, and that ensures that neither of the other drivers above him score that point.
Yes, and
so it's a good start so far.
We do know how important 1 point can come down into the end of seasons, going all the way back. I think it was to season 5.
5? Yeah. It's 5.
Yeah, I mean, and qualifying in Spain, like if it's a clean race, is so very important with how difficult it can be to get overtakes here.
That's right. I think, the statistics point to race winners coming from the front row for sure at this track. So you're absolutely right to point that out.
Let's see what Hawksid can do here. Is going to complete this, and he will go up into second.
Oh, okay.
Now, Hawksid almost a forgotten driver a little. I wouldn't say that, but you know what? Maybe a ghost driver, I guess. He's sitting 5th right now. That's a proper position.
Absolutely. Best of the rest beyond the 4 that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Is nothing to be scoffed at. Again, it's one of the aims to a lot of these drivers to be in the top 7 to secure a choice of car for the next season. So he's doing a great job in that regard.
Here we go. Scornsey is going to go for another attempt here. Matt Rosie, I think, is following him as well.
Yeah, at a safe distance. Won't pick up any dirty air from that region, I wouldn't imagine. Probably not a tow either, though.
Yeah, we see the current championship leader, Ryan Rods, does improve behind his teammate there, currently sitting with a Merc 1-2.
Scornsey, 26 thousandths behind his own pace. Currently sits 6th on the grid. Wouldn't be the most comfortable place to start, especially if your rival are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Again, just tidy driving, though. Look at the lines he takes. There's no real risk at losing the rear. Doesn't seem, at least. Seems pretty planted. Variants and lines between some of these drivers through that particular area of the track. I know the name of the corner, but I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly, so I'm not going to. And into the chicane. Clips the first curb, not so much the second, which is probably wise. And we'll see what the time is as he crosses the line with about 5 minutes left and finds 3/10, goes 4th.
Oh, and there
Immediately
we go.
Gets put back to 5th, though, with his teammate eclipsing the top time by 0.03 of a second.
It's almost as if we predicted it a little bit there.
It is kind of, yeah. Look at the margins, though. There's 16 eights for the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's 17 ones for the next 3. It's, I mean, you could be anywhere within 3 positions as either of those drivers with slightly better laps, so it will make a difference.
I don't think we've peeked at the race here for the weather. So obviously clear qualifying here. Race goes light cloud, overcast, light cloud. So that doesn't really, I mean, does it bring any sort of fear of a drizzle at all? I mean, nothing really to consider.
No. The only thing it will do is the more cloud, the more tire pressure you can run without fear of overheating tires. But that comes with a bit of risk still. It depends what tyres you want to run as well. If you want to run a softer compound, then you're going to need to have less tyre pressure. I imagine most drivers will go with mediums and hards, though. Although it wouldn't be unheard of to see a soft around here.
Oh, let me find the... Ryan Rods is doing a special helmet this evening, if we can...
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can...
He's not out yet.
Yeah, we'll have to I'll have to get on board with him when he is, and I'll try and find the exact reasoning why. I can't remember. He did put it into chat here.
Actually, I think if we were talking about statistics of pole position or the front row getting the win at this track, I just remembered that in the early days of the league, this track was conducive with using mediums, and that would mean you would have to qualify on mediums, not softs. So for that reason, if anyone did qualify on softs, as Hoxie is disqualified,
Oh.
oof. Yeah, if you qualified on softs, you were unlikely to have the best strategy. I think that happened to me in season 2. I remember it being a Ferrari front row lockout, but neither of us won. Edwin is letting some cars through there. I think he made a mistake on that lap. We'll be hoping to recharge some battery and go again if he has time and fuel. Ryan on an out lap. Matt is going to have to leave the pits very soon. I think he is coming down the pit lane, or actually one of the McLarens is. The other one is probably too late at this point. All right, Edwin is going to go again, although he's not going to start with a full battery to deplete throughout the lap, only 70%. Ooh, that last McLaren may just have enough time, but it'll be very close. And if they have to let anyone through, they're going to run out of time, I think. No, Edwin is done.
Okay, I've got it here quickly before I forget. So Ryan Rods is doing a helmet in name of Jesse Brown, who is a boy in Florida that died from an infection after getting a sprained ankle. So just
Damn.
a terrible, terrible thing. Very unlucky. Just got to count your blessings.
I can see that helmet has a bit of black and red on it. I'm not sure the symbolism of that, but if there's any comment on that, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know too much. That's all I saw there. So quite a few drivers are actually just chalking it up here. We've got a little cluster. Scavney's going to start one. Nicky is into the pit, so that'll be it for him. Is that Scornsy starting one? It is. Race day starting. Edwin starting. Ryan's in the middle of his last attempt. I think that was Bacon going 9th. Lancia as well starting. Matt Rosie not feeling comfortable. Dace will go into 6th. Arrows into the pit. Shelley, I think he just caught the line to start his final attempt. He did.
Or slightly wide there through the entry of the chicane for Ryan. I think even if he's up, that lost a bit of time. Let's see what his final lap is going to be. And it's pole.
Wow, okay.
Just gets a 16.7. I think there's maybe a 10th more in it, though. So let's see if anyone can improve on that. And Matt is actually up. Matt is just shy of a 10th up on his own time, which would be pretty much bang on the same time as the current pole position. Gets a lot of curb through the chicane. He's flat again through camp, so this time with a bit of space on the left on the exit. Probably better line, actually.
So
and he's not up anymore. Okay.
Oh, he's really got to find it here.
Oh, loses the rear. He's done. He's absolutely done. Doesn't hit the wall, but won't improve. Edwin is invalid. Scorns is finished. Dace is not on the lap. Bacon's entering the pits.
Yeah, Dace just...
Lansley's about to cross the line.
And
improves to 11th.
And I think that's about
that leaves
it.
Shelley. Shelley's 3 tenths up.
Ooh.
He's got 1 corner to go.
He really has to hope he messed up Sector 3 and potentially get pole.
Well, he's going to get 16th here.
Oh, yeah. Good call. If he lost
Actually,
that...
it was a very good last sector, but still only 16th.
If he lost that much time in Sector 3, like a solid minute or a second and a half.
A minute?
A minute, yeah. Yeah, if he made up a minute, he probably would have had that.
You know what? An 18-second lap would be pretty impressive.
That'd be unreal. That'd be
Literally.
that'd bring a lot of hacks questions out. That's for sure. Especially coming from Shelley. But yeah, qualifying is in the book. We have a Merc McLaren, then Alfa Romeo, not the one that you'd think. Got Palmer sitting fifth, trying to work himself out of relegation, and with that qualifying, that is going to help his cause quite a bit. And it looks like Mitch Burns is most likely going to go down at this point. Actually, no, he still has one more race to work himself out, but with Gott Palmer and Sharia in this race, it is going to make him fall even farther in that championship table. But anywho, as qualifying finishes, Jackie, why don't you go ahead? Take it away.
All right. So extending his championship lead by one there, quite importantly, is Ryan Rodds with pole position at 16.7. Marginally behind is going to be Matt, Rosie, Edwin, and Scornsey there. Those are all fighting for the championship. And it's Palmer, Dace, Dusty, Race Day, Aero, and Bacon in the top 10. Landsey, Callie, Scavney, Sharia, Cake, all within a second of pole. Then it's Shelley, Nikki, Smith, Frenchie, and unfortunately Hoxid, who had a time that was probably good enough for fifth from memory before he was disqualified.
Yeah, he was right up there. I think he would have got pushed down. He might have finished just above Palmer there, but yeah, that's really unfortunate. It's gonna, and I think it gets him out of hardest charger, even if it was
that is true,
which would really be unfortunate. But
that's absolutely the correct ruling there, because I remember some people, Jay Chase in season 2, having some unfortunate qualifying disqualifications and was therefore ineligible for the point for hardest charger.
Yeah, that's quite rough. But hopefully he can still finish with a good race here and separate the gap he's looking to from Shelley the Turtle, who's currently sitting 6th, being quickly chased by Cake Thomas, Dace, Landsey, and Arrow, which is our top 10 as it stands right now. But we got a little bit of moment here, so let's pull up the Division 1 Constructors Championship, and we got some things that we need to go through here as well. We got to go the rest of the divisions. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, so let's try and bang these out. Right now, the Mercs are champions. I should have colored that gold. But yeah, the Mercs have locked up the championship for Division 1. Congratulations to Edwin and Ryan Rods. They've done very solid work between the two of them, and a well-earned championship for those two that will end Scornsey's 5 season in a row, something like that, reign of a Constructors champion. Still trying to go with some more hardware. Very much in the fight for the Drivers Championship, but he is currently out. And one more quick peek at the Drivers' Championship there. Ryan Rods and Scornsey so ever close. Now that gap sits at 8 points with the pole for Ryan Rods there. Cannot forget about Edwin and Race Day. Division 2 Constructors, we see the Mercs lead the way in there as well. And that is a very tight margin too. Only 12 points between them and the Red Bull. That's a fun little battle. Almost a little bit of IRL belief in that one. VTech doing very well, looking to try and get himself up into Division 1 for next season, and I think he just needs a couple of good point finishes there, and he'll have that locked up for himself. Houdini, Gunner in the chase. T-Brum cannot count that guy out. We know how quick he is. Division 3, Alpine leading the way with Williams not too far back, and Aston Martin with still a proper shot to close that gap and to get themselves up on the top. A little bit of a different look there from the top 2 divisions. Electric Blade has locked up the Division 3 Drivers' Championship. Congratulations to him. He will be in Division 2 next season. Slayer Eyes, Pork Chops, Gabagai, Jordium, and DJ Knickknack are all in the fight there to try and get promotion, but I don't think Pork Chops will go up in Division 3 or Division 2 after that anyways. Williams here in Division 4 leads the way with a strong margin. They actually might have that locked up too. I didn't do the math on that one. But AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Red Bull are quite some back and need some proper finishes and hope for a big Williams slip-up to be able to get that. Baba Yaga just recently overtook the Division 4 Drivers' Championship from Oh No It's Maxo, as those two guys are trying to lead themselves up into Division 3 for next season. Very close between Alex and Call Me Maybe. Those guys are not separated by too much, with Tono and Peter DH with an outside chance to try and gain promotion there. Quickly as well, and actually no, I don't have the time there. We'll get to the race as everyone has finished the formation lap, and Jacko, you can go right ahead and take this one away.
All right, Hock City is quite far back, but he's charging towards his good position now. I'll tell you right now that there's 8 drivers in the top 10 on mediums, one on softs in 10th, and one on hards in second. Matt Rosie going for an alternate strategy. Plenty of other hards down the field, but he is definitely the highest. So we have to keep an eye out for that alternate strategy and whether the second row can actually overtake him in this first stint or even in the run down towards 10-1. They've already had a great launch. It looks like Ryan's going to be very much safe there ahead of the pack, although there is going to be a challenge here. Around the outside swoops Edwin. There's contact between third and
Oh,
fourth. Matt is around. His strategy is out the window already. And now the highest hard is in 13th for Kelly Robb. Let's have a look. And it's got Palmer actually has vaulted his way past Scornsey, although Scornsey is challenging around the outside. This would be a fantastic move if he can make that work. And he certainly has made it work. That's one of the best passes I've seen in a
yeah.
while. A very committed move there by the McLaren man, and he needed to make that so that the guys in front would not get away. They do already have a margin that would see them away from the DRS point, and there makes a
Oh,
mistake for Scornsey. He catches the rear, but that's going to cost him a myriad of positions. Yeah, he's falling down. He's going to be challenged by Bacon now, who's on softer rubber. So, wow, 9th place, 6th place is lost in that. One error. Super costly.
man. I mean, an incredible job of catching that, but oh my goodness, that went all wrong so very quick. And Ryan Rods is already breaking away from Edwin there, a second between the two, and a second and a half between Edwin and Gott Palmer. So Ryan Rods is just trying to run off into the distance and maybe tow his teammate along as well. Quickly setting the fastest lap. Like you said, Bacon trying to be on the hunt of Scornsey with that softer compound. And I mean, Matt Rosie's just going to have to try and ride these things to the end, and hopefully he doesn't get caught up in traffic too much. He's already trying to work on an overtake here on Frenchie. We'll get on board with him as he's down the inside line here, lining it up. How much is Frenchie going to battle it out? And he actually opts to go pretty hard at it, and a little bit of contact once again with Matt
There's
Rosie.
3 wide happening, by the way, here.
Oh my goodness.
Swansea has just flown around the outside of Aero and Lanzi in what can only be described as excellent driving. Not so
Oh,
much there for Lanzi, who completely outbrakes himself. He's going to lose 3 to 5 positions, I'd imagine, at least. Shout out to Cake as well, who made a move in the final sector last lap around Sharia on the outside, which is a very impressive one. Bacon is now challenging Aero. Aero's done a great job to defend that position. But it's all kicking off here. There's certainly no need to wait for the DRS apparently to make some moves.
God, no, yeah.
Further moves being made here. Sharia is falling backwards a little bit. Not sure the reasoning behind that, whether there's damage involved or not. But there's some side by side in front of him. Nicky and Kelly Robb 2 wide and quickly cease that 2 wide action. Oh, looking back towards
Oh
Hoxie, he
my
got
God.
incredibly close to Sharia. Did well to avoid.
Wow, these guys are really putting it all out on the
Oh,
line here.
Matt lost the rear but caught it. He's going to fall back on this straight a bit from Smith Powell, which is unfortunate for his race. He was 1/10 back on the exit of the previous turn.
Yeah, and he's
Oxide looks to have no straight line speed compared to Sharia, which may explain why Sharia is losing positions elsewhere.
oh, yellow in
We've
sector
got some
one.
issues for Bacon, who's facing the incorrect direction in the gravel.
Oh, Hawksid looking at Sharia and cannot outbreak the man on the mediums. Yeah, Matt was even swerving down the pit straight to try and warm those hards up.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of difficult to get tyre temperature into hards at several tracks. This probably is one of them, especially if you've set your tyre pressures low.
And that gap
Wow.
is just growing between everyone in the top four, really. Edwin cannot keep pace with Ryan. Palmer can't keep pace with Edwin, and Dace can't keep pace with Palmer.
Very true. We've got 3 drivers who've improved by 5 positions. 2 of them will be eligible for that driver of the day. That's Cake and Nicky currently. Obviously, 16 places in the negative for Matt Rosie, unfortunately. So that's the worst statistic we've got on that particular column.
Scornsey has slowly worked himself back a couple of positions here. Yellow in sector 3. That's Matt and Smith, that looks like.
Matt and Smith, yeah. Entering the pits for Matt.
I wonder what happened there. I wonder if that was maybe a late lunge into the pit and maybe caught Smith out.
I think it was a bit too early for that. I think there may have been contact at the chicane.
Mm.
Medium tyres for Matt. They will not make the end, so I imagine he'll be hoping to have a second set of them fixed later on in the race, perhaps at a safety car opportunity. Oxy does make that move on Sharia, who's now under pressure from Shelley. There's understeer massively on this Haas, so I imagine Sharia may have picked up damage. That's just a theory, though. I can't be certain on that.
Yeah, Shelley's in the chase right now.
Look at the understeer there.
Oh, yeah.
He's huge understeer.
He's really struggling there, fighting the car around that turn. Shelley barely even had to do any work to get through.
That was also, of course, DRS as well, so there was a bit of assistance from the rear wing. Well, it looks like mediums were the correct tyre to choose to start the race, albeit maybe later they'll not work out for people. But Nicky has spun. Nicky on softs, so again the mediums seem better than that soft choice. Both drivers who started on softs have spun this race.
Yeah, these guys need this track to warm up ASAP. Everyone's just cannot find the grip as it's standing right now, and it's a tough one. I'm happy I'm in the booth today. That's for sure.
It's a very slippery track. We got Bacon draped over the rear wing of Sharia here. Sharia already flashing with the ERS battery being quite low, and side by side around the outside would be an interesting move. It looks like Bacon's done it though. Nice timing on the brakes, and turning point was spot on.
Sharia makes him go a little bit wide there, but also doesn't catch the corner as well as he was hoping. Scorenzy has caught up to the back of Race Day here. Race Day is hounding Dusty as well.
Ooh. Race Day had a bit of a swapper there, caught it within the nick of time, but certainly that wasn't the fastest way around that turn.
We'll see who's got the straight line speed. And once again.
Yeah, okay. In qualifying, I said this was a stable car. Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
It looks like while following, it struggles. I don't know what is happening with the balance of some of these guys, but it looks definitely very tricky. And in fact, we've had another spin that looks to be Smith Pell again at the chicane. A pit stop for Sharia. I imagine he's changing his front wing. We'll have a quick look at that. Well, I will at least.
Nothing too terrible there for Scorenzy, though. I mean, he most likely wouldn't have been able to get the overtake on Race Day there anyway, and he has already closed back up to the two up ahead. I mean, it's just so hard that he's got to try and clear 3 drivers to get some open space.
It is a new front wing for the number 69, and almost spins coming out of the pits as he puts the throttle down on those cold hards. Emerges in 19th place. Matt Rosie, by the way, is approaching a lap down from the front row.
Wow. Yeah, that man needs a safety car, and like yesterday at this point.
Edwin has caught up to the DRS zone of his teammate and will open the wing. There it is. So that's an interesting one. We've been accustomed to seeing them working pretty well together this season. However, with a championship opportunity available, maybe Edwin will look to grab that first win of the season and start closing in.
Yeah, unbelievable how he still hasn't even picked up a win. He's got how many podiums? Let me just check this quick.
Significant number. There was a move there by Lanzi, I believe, taking 10th place from Cake Thomas.
Yeah, 7 podiums.
Yeah, Edwin is a race winner from last season, I believe, at the French Grand Prix, but this season has yet to grace that top step.
But I believe has more podiums this season than he did last.
Oh, yes. Definitely so.
We'll see. How much is... Ryan isn't struggling at all for battery. Might come just down to pit stop strategy between these two. Now, is the overcut or undercut more powerful here?
It depends how long you go. Because obviously those hards take a long time to warm up, but if the mediums are dead, then that will be... I mean, it's luck of the draw. You also have to account for where you're going to come out. Do you come out in traffic? Will you be held up on that outlap? So I'd say it's neutral, probably.
Once again, this trio from Dace to Scornsy swings around the final turn and down the pit straight. Does not look like race day is close enough to have any sort of overtake opportunity here into turn 1.
It looks like Dace has got more pace, but Dusty is using that DRS to stay close and defend from race day, which is working out quite nicely for the Ferrari man. It's always interesting to see which cars probably would get away if there was no DRS available. I'd say Dace is probably that driver, but Dusty's using it to good effect.
Yeah, and honestly, if anything, it may be benefiting Dace as well. Dusty kind of separating himself from race day and Scornsy. We do know how fast Dace is, but race day and Scornsy have been a couple of the quicker drivers this season. We have another spin there. I think that's Nicky. Yes, it is, as he drops down into most likely 18th place with his teammate coming around the corner there as well.
Yeah, Alpine having some serious issues this race with grip levels, albeit they're not last or even second last, but yeah, it's not looking good for either of them at this point.
No, not at all. And the two drivers that started on the softs find themselves in the back 6, so not what the start that they were hoping for here. But Race Day has got a good shot.
Looking for a move.
Yeah, he's going to opt for the inside line here. Dusty's going to push him down and swing around the outside. A proper defense there, and it doesn't look like Race Day will be able to do anything through turn 2, but we got to watch out for turn 4 here. If Race Day can get a good run, doesn't look like the straight's going to be long enough there. No.
But Dusty did expend a lot of battery to stay there. It was actually a fantastic defense. And he's really well placed, that car, in turns 1 and 2. Dusty on a good streak of form recently, actually. Mm-hmm. Even outside of Midwest, yesterday had a race win at Bahrain. So, he's got a smile on his dial right now, and he'll be hoping to stay in that top 5.
So he was about 1.2 seconds back at one point there to Dace, but then quickly caught up 0.4 of a second on Dace, getting back into DRS. Is that maybe a move from Dace to allow him back in?
It's possible. It's certainly possible. But it could also have been Dusty expending that battery, which I don't know when he did that, but it's very low now. So should he fall outside of a second again, I think he'll struggle to...
Which he just did.
Yeah, but was he there for the detection point?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay. Yeah. This is a position for race day for sure. There he goes. Scornsy's not going to be close enough to make the move with race day, but probably will make it in the next couple of laps, because Scornsy also has about half his battery. You imagine race day has the pace to catch up to Dace now.
What is Dace sitting at? He's only got 33%, so you might not even, you will only really be able to ward off race day for maybe a lap. He's finding some pace here, though, still holding him off. Scornsy is now closing into the back of Dusty. Smith Pell is very close onto Frenchie, and he's just going to blast down the inside line there and comfortably take back 16th place. Frenchie sitting in the 1-7 spot.
Yep. Interesting, we've seen no retirements so far. Now this is the 10th lap. I think we've seen some very large crashes at this track in the past in Division 1. I remember, was it Kenny or Scavney who had a massive crash at turn 9 many seasons ago, and there were bits of cars strewn across both sides of the track.
So race day just missed out on DRS there from Dace. It was just hovering, and just right when the detection came out, he wasn't able to get it, so that helps out Dusty. But Scornsy's still hunting. He really needs to try and clear him. Another yellow flag, and that looks like it again. Yeah, Smith Pell concedes 16th place back to Frenchie. And yeah, these back 5 are just really fighting with these cars. At least they stayed together, though. They're not alone.
Yeah.
Matt's trying to catch up.
Yeah, if your car is not in tune with the track and you've got grip issues, this is just torture. This track, so it won't be fun for any of them. but at least they haven't retired at this stage. And in fact, no one has penalties either at this point, which is an interesting statistic.
Race day, importantly enough, has actually used up a little bit of his battery to try and even keep up with Dace. And once again, we're teetering at the DRS window, and Race Day will catch it this time.
Dusty put his car on that curb on the exit, and he's lost like 4/10 from that. He's going to be overtaken for sure by Scornsy. He didn't even take the greatest line himself. But when you get onto that curb, you straddle it, you basically can't turn, and you get limited in your acceleration as well. That's what happened to the Ferrari man, and he's lost a position from it. Down to 7th.
Yeah, Scornsy didn't take turn 1 apex very well. We'll be able to break away on the turn 3 exit. And now he's got 2 seconds to try and close to Race Day. Edwin is fairly tight here to Ryan Rods. Ryan's still fairly comfortable with this battery deployment. Hoxton is going to try and work on Cali Rob, and around the outside, as we saw Scornsy do all the way back in turn 1, cannot get it done on those hards, but will dive back down and get right along Cali, putting him up on the curb, and it looks like he got that move done in the end. It looked like it was virtually gone with his exit of turn 4, but brought it back very nicely down the inside to turn 5, and now he's going to look to try and chase to Cake.
An aggressive move, but it was well executed. Yeah, well, interesting to see how much room there was on Cali's POV, but I think it was probably fair. Yeah, makes that move. What are we saying?
Race Day got a little bit too aggressive there on the final turn and caught a bit of that curb and lost all momentum on the final turn. Dace will be safe going into turn 1, even with the pace that Race Day is coming down the pit straight. And that is beneficial for Scornsy as he's still trying to catch, but he lost a little bit of time on the straight there.
He's falling back because the car in front of him has DRS and he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's always very tough to catch a car that has DRS, especially if the car in front of him is not slower than you.
Yeah.
So Dace versus Scornsy in this case. So yeah, Scornsy needs there to be a bit of a battle going on ahead here to catch this DRS, I would imagine. Even if he's faster across a lap than Race Day, it doesn't matter because Race Day will just catch up to Dace in the DRS zones.
Yeah, perfect world as Dace holds up Race Day and Scornsy is able to catch up to them both. He is closing quite a bit of time here.
Well, I'll tell you what a perfect world is for Scornsy, and that's that a safety car comes out when both Mercedes have passed the pit lane entry, and they get caught by a safety car because that's looks like the only way he's going to beat either of them in this race with how it's panned out so far.
Once again, Smith-Pell gets back through to Frenchie. We'll see if this one lasts more than a lap, though. And unfortunately,
Dave's had a bit of a twitch there. This might be an opportunity for the P5 man to improve, but Dave's got a great exit from the last turn. He seems really confident through there. So it's going to be tough. There is a closing speed difference here, but okay. Interestingly, we saw the battery start to flash on Dace's rear light. 13% versus 41. Not sustainable. A couple of moves to the back end of the top 10. That was Scavney improving to 8th past Aero. Oxid on Lanzi as well.
Yeah, Aero can see the blinking light of Scavney, though. He's got much more battery to deploy. Unfortunately, Nicky has been lapped, though, and he's going to be getting the blue flags from all these guys behind. So we'll just slowly see him start dropping even farther away.
Like having an anchor attached to your ankle, and he's gone. He probably... Yeah, I mean, you stick roughly with the leaders. No, he's not close enough. He might be. If there's a safety car now and he doesn't pit, that might save his race. But he needs it almost immediately to make that work. Oxid, by the way, who started on hards from last, is now 10th. So that's an incredible improvement from him. Again, not eligible for the point that would give him otherwise. But it's certainly a great effort up to this point.
Yellow in Sector 3 there is just Nicky pulling out of the way. We'll get back onto Race Day. And it's actually Scornsy's coming into the pit. He's looking to undercut the field. Maybe he can sense...
He's not the only one. Aero's jumping in as well. That's certainly a wise move, I think, from someone who was in Scornsy's position. He'll fix the hards, I imagine. Yeah, for sure. Go to the end. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. We'll see if he comes out in traffic, though. That would be quite annoying from his perspective.
It looks like he's left himself a nice little window here.
Yeah, and he won't catch Shelley immediately either because those tyres will take a little bit of time to fire up. In fact, you can see he's already struggling with acceleration, but everyone will coming out of the pits.
Bacon going fastest lap here on the
Yeah,
two-lap
he made
old
a recent pit
mediums.
stop. Yeah. So he's going for a 2-stop. He's the Red Bull man.
We'll see what race day does here to answer Scornsy. Is he going to try and dispatch Dace? Is Dace going to come in maybe? As well as one of these two pit leaders or these two race leaders going to do in combat with each other, and neither of them come into the pit. Got Palmer is kind of in a race of his own here. Got a proper gap between the front and behind, and he's going to come to the pit. And race day follows Dace. I don't think that was the move.
I don't think that was the move either, especially with his teammate pitting in front. I mean, there's still a margin between them, but it could still slow race day's pit stop. Hopefully not, especially, I mean, he's got to hope his teammate doesn't have a broken wing or anything. He's already left the box, but yeah, there's a slight delay. Did
just
you see
a little,
that?
a little hiccup.
Even a little bit is more than you want. And he's behind Dace.
Here comes Scornsy too.
No way to see past him.
He's closed up quite a bit of time though, and race day is on very cold hards, and he's going to be under the mercy of Scornsy. And
this should be an easy move.
Yeah. Even on hards, gets that job done, and now he's going to try and work on closing the gap to Dace, and we see the big gap actually between Dace and race day. I mean, that hiccup may have caused a little bit more time than we might have thought initially.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I actually think that if race day stayed out an extra lap, he could have overcut.
Oh, 100%.
It depends. I agree. If he thinks that he was going to puncture, then it was the right choice, obviously. But, there was certainly an opportunity to go for an overcut rather than lose 2 positions.
And here we go. Edwin's going to go for the undercut on Ryan Rod's here. We saw how...
I mean, if Ryan can go this long without a puncture, then I think it certainly was possible for race day as well.
We'll see how powerful the undercut is here for Edwin as well. Potentially a situation for Scornsy and race day there, where Scornsy had that lap to get those tires warm. And Scornsy might even have Dace here as well. He's got to get a really good exit. But as you pointed out before, it looks like race day, even under some colder hards, still gets a good exit on the final turn there, and Scornsy can't do anything.
Oh, Edwin comes out so close in front of Scavney. He needs to make sure Scavney doesn't make a move here, otherwise he'll be held up. I think Scavney has not yet pitted, so his tyres won't be the greatest anyway, but neither of them will have fantastic pace throughout this lap. Look at the margins, very, very close. But I will point out here that Scavney and Ryan are going to do more than half the race on mediums.
Very interesting. If anything, this hurts Hawkshead because now Scavney gets a little bit of a tow, and we have a car off there. I think that's Nicky once again. Yeah,
Ryan Rod's pits. He'll go for hards. I was wondering if anyone wanted to stretch to softs, which I think is kind of crazy and probably impossible. But yeah, it's going to be 17 laps on mediums followed by 16 on hards for Ryan. At least that's his plan. Probably the same for Scavney.
Scavney might dive in here. No, he's going to stay out. Okay.
Do you think he wants softs?
I mean,
that's actually...
I'm not sure
if
how
anyone was going to do it, it's Scavney.
Yeah, I'm not sure how hard he's been fighting Hawkshead either.
Race day overtakes Scornsy. Scornsy was on a really weird line there when I went back to see, so there could have been a mistake, there could have been contact involved. There is a Bacon facing the incorrect direction at Bank Sebadell, so unfortunate.
Ryan
does pass him.
Ryan must have had a blistering in lap because he opened up 2 seconds or a second and a half at least to Edwin.
Yeah, watch that now reduce as his tires are still heating up. Surely that will come down.
Very true.
Yeah, see it's now 1.3. I don't know if there'll be DRS by the end of it, but it will certainly be less than it is currently.
Yeah, it's just getting absolutely slashed here.
Yeah, in fact, I think there was a bit of battery involved from Edwin's perspective there. He wants to get that DRS, and he's within the 1 second margin. I think he needed to do that. Even if he holds in behind his teammate for a couple of laps, it was good to make sure he could do that, sort of relaxing in the DRS. Yeah, and he'll get that DRS. There it is. Wing is open. Albeit the gap now goes over a second.
Hawks are looking to try and get Scavney, and it doesn't look like Scavney's going to fight him at all. Scavney might be going for that.
Tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be going for the softs later on there. Got
Palmer. I think Kelly Robb might be as well.
Yeah.
And probably Hoxid.
Yeah, Callie's a lot more likely than Scavney. Race day trying to close Dace once again as this Dace Race Scornsey trio is formed. I mean, I guess we can't count out Dusty.
Dusty's fallen back in this pit stop phase, unfortunately. So he's kind of alone at this stage. Aero's closed in on him. I don't know if that was something happened on track or whether it was just purely the pit lane timing that didn't work out for Dusty. But at the moment, I think he's still net 7th because there's a few drivers in front yet to pit. Yeah, 3 drivers yet to pit in front.
So got Palmer as it's standing right now is going to be collecting a podium. I mean, there's quite a gap from Dace to him. Ryan Rod's picking up fastest lap now, and he didn't even really shake. Yeah, he didn't even really shake Edwin that much. And Callie Robach is actually. Yeah, Callie enters.
So these guys will go for mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely medium.
100%.
Yeah.
And here we go. Race day on Dace. Dace opts to defend the inside line. Once again, he's going to force race around the outside and race a lot more brave this time to get the job done. Dace not giving up. Still holding the inside margin here. And these guys are still very tight, but Dace is going to have to concede completely out of battery and race up into 5th place now, trying to now open up that gap to Dace Scornsey. Still very close. And every point matters for him at this point with Ryan Rod's nearly getting a full score here.
Yeah, the driver's perspective there from Dace's T-Cam was just of, please don't turn in on me race day. And race day didn't. Gave him the perfect amount of space. But it was just in that margin where you sort of hesitant if you're Dace. And I think that may have made the difference. It kind of adjusted his line a little bit, slowed him down. And well-executed move by race day. So Edwin is 4/10 back from the lead. Palmer passes Scavney for 3rd on track as well. It would have been net 3rd anyway. Scavney still going on 20-lap-old mediums.
Wow.
This is his 21st lap on them. He can for sure go to softs if he can get another 2 laps out of them, I'd say.
I mean, at this point, you almost have no choice. You've sent it this far. Oh,
No flags for Alpine again. Dusty passes Aero, who was 2 seconds back at one point. So Dusty may have made him an error at some unknown part of the track.
Oh, Aero just peaks the inside line as well, but not going there. Scornsey
is basically reading the rear wing of Dace.
I mean, we still have to marvel at the fact of how, even with these 2 bobbles that Scornsey's had, he's still showing some major pace, not even on his normal wheel as well. A spin there, I think
it's a Red Bull.
Yeah. I think
it would be
it's
Bacon.
Bacon.
Scavney now pits. Oh, that could be early. Scornsey clobbers the curb, and Dace does even a weird maneuver. That could have ended in tears. Actually, if Scornsey was closer, having not made that previous error, he may have run into Dace.
Yeah, that is so true.
It is soft for Scavney. He will be pushing to make that to the end. But you know what? If anyone can do it, once again, it is Scavney.
Yeah.
His teammate gets past with the fastest lap. So Scavney has lost out track position to those drivers who pitted for mediums. I mean, he couldn't have gone for mediums anyway, so it wasn't a viable strategy for him.
Yeah.
He emerges in 12th.
Yeah, with Scavney coming in there, you must have imagined he was probably on the brink of those mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably hunting for a safety car or VSC at some point, but never panned out for him. I noticed several laps ago how close Matt was to being lapped. I think this was like at least 15 laps ago. And then he's still pretty much at that same margin. So it's showing that he has the pace of the leaders. He just doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
as I say, it gets the fastest lap.
You don't say.
But he just doesn't have the he doesn't have the position on track or the proximity, unfortunately.
Yeah, those first 5 laps were just unbelievably detrimental, and Scavney pulling an overtake in an area that you do not typically see it on, but the tire differential there is just astronomical, and Scavney is just going to get blue flags to Frenchie, and I think he's actually going to get DRS as well. Yeah, he does, so that's going to help him out a little bit down the straight there. If a guy
At
doesn't...
some point, Aero has overtaken Dusty for 7th place, but that battle still rages on.
Yeah.
There is an ERS deficit for the car in front as well, which will aid the battle in continuing, although I think Aero may have a little bit more pace.
Now, a crazy stat here is with the with Hoxha not being able to take the hardest charger, with 11 positions gained, and I think that is gonna stay there for the rest of the race. He might be able to catch Lusky, but that will bring it to race day only picking up 4 positions. Will get him hardest charger, which is just crazy. A lot of just 2s picked up, but nothing bigger than 4 other than the man who's not eligible.
That is interesting. Lap 24 now for the race leaders. Still no penalties for anybody. No retirements yet either. A few lapped cars, but nothing that will prevent anyone from scoring yet. Still DRS for P2, but he's not been able to get much closer than 4/10. And the ERS is very much in favour of the race leader at the moment, 80%. Wow, that is incredible to have that much in reserve. In fact, he's looking to maybe break DRS here, although there was DRS in this particular straight. So Edwin is likely to stay within DRS from the remainder of the race unless he makes a mistake. But whether he can make a pass is an entirely different matter.
So with this positional gap that Ryan has pulled on Scornsy, if it were to finish right now, there'd be 25 points that would separate these two guys, which would only require Ryan a top 10 to close out the Drivers' Championship for this season. In regards to his teammate, I think it's just a little bit too far gone there as well, with Ryan looking to take this win.
Yeah, it makes a Singapore Grand Prix a bit more controversial when you look at it that way, because it was, of course, Ryan who sort of put the damage on the McLaren that saw him take the championship lead. Despite getting a penalty, it wasn't really enough to bring back the balance of what the point loss was for Scornsy. So there may be a few words about that. I don't want to create any tension that I don't need to by mentioning it.
So 36, 41. Yeah, then Edwin still won't even be able to catch Scornsy if the results were to hold from this one as well. So still, even after it would finish at this lap here, Scornsy is the closest man to Ryan, but Ryan has just almost looked undefeatable at times these last couple of races.
There's been a lot of occasions where Ryan's had a car within his DRS for a lot of the race, and on a lot of occasions it has been the same man, Edwin, and there just hasn't been an opportunity for Edwin at any point. And how the season could be different if that was flipped. Might Edwin be the championship leader at this point if all those occasions were the other way around? Edwin does get pretty close there, so he's got a few more laps to make this work. 8 laps. 7 attempts on that front DRS straight, which seems to be the preferable place to make a move. Not over there. Scavney's catching up to the cars in front. He's already passed Lanzi earlier in his stint. Didn't see any fastest lap for him, but he's now within DRS of Cali Robb, his teammate, who's fallen a bit back from Hoxid, who has caught Dusty, and in fact Aero in that battle, 7th, 8th, 9th. Dace not too far in front of them, so Hoxid could get as far as 6th here if everything goes right for him, which would be still an incredible drive from 20th on the grid. Can only imagine what he would have been capable of if he'd started from the place his qualifying time suggested he could have.
Yeah. It's it's very tight, and I mean, I guess that's why we raced the race, especially with the pole that Matt Rosie was able to take. Just another unfortunate race from him there.
Yeah, you're right. Matt started on the front row and currently sits 17th, which is, he will have been hoping for that safety car we mentioned earlier when we saw him pit off hards very early, and it just hasn't come to fruition.
Oh, and just taking a peek at the battery deployment that Ryan has, he's sitting in the mid-90s right now, so Edwin needs a big mistake from him there. Hoxid is able to get back at Dusty.
Yep.
Yellow.
And it looks like Aero has caught Dace as well. So Dace having some pace issues here in this last stint. He was much stronger, I'd say, on mediums than he has been on hards, as we see a Red Bull pirouetting at the last turn. And he's not the only one. I think there was some yellow there in Sector 1.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Cali Robb having a bit of an excursion after Scavendy got past?
Yeah, exactly that. Oh, what's happened with the lead? Ryan Rods has lost it.
Oh, I so unfortunately missed that. But yeah, you're right. Edwin is now the race leader. Ryan is certainly not out of it. He's got 100% battery to play with, and he's within DRS. But that is the first time we've seen the lead switch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, look at this, though. He's going to come straight back fast. Oh, defensive maneuver. Ah, he's been let past. Was there maybe contact between them?
Maybe.
We're only guessing at this point. I didn't see it. I don't know if you saw it, but that certainly looked like Edwin wasn't adverse to being overtaken there.
Wow. Ryan dumped 40% of his battery there, exiting the final turn. That's more than Edwin has total.
Matt and Bacon are relatively close quarters here for 16th place. I believe those drivers just changed position very recently. Bacon is 17 seconds down on his previous best lap, so he must have spun this lap.
Yeah, that's quite the differential there.
Right behind them are the race leaders. They're going to get lapped by the end of the race, I would imagine. Oh, clobbering over the curb there is Bacon. Edwin's falling out of DRS. So, like last lap he was in the race lead, now he's suffering. So, in fact, Ryan gets the fastest lap. Oh, was that a tactic to get fastest lap point?
What a clown. I think it was.
Wow. Bacon grabs a position there from Matt Rosie. Let's have a look at this battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th, though. I think that's probably going to be the best one to look at.
We were bamboozled.
Yeah, we were bamboozled.
Hoodwinked, if you will.
Indeed.
And Arrow's deploying everything he's got here to try and get Dace, and you can see,
is Dace.
Yeah, you can see Dace is blinking too, and Arrow did take a peek down the inside, but nothing was going there. Hoxid is just sitting back and just kind of watching. Yeah, he's keep going, boys, get him, go at him, Arrow, go at him.
Exactly.
Slow him up a little more. But yeah, Hoxid.
He's got more battery to play with, so when he arrives, he will be able to pounce, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he's just.
And now Edwin's back within DRS. He started lap 1.4 back. Is he going for the fastest lap now? Somewhat doubt it.
Yeah, what a troll.
Play by the teammates.
What a troll.
This is, of course, the track that in real life the Mercedes duo had issues at, being Rosberg and Hamilton.
Oh, Dace goes wide there. Brings the Arrow a little bit back closer to him, and Hoxid also sitting very tight here. Hoxton breaks a little bit deeper, trying to really get a good run here. They all take a little bit different lines there, and it doesn't look like Hoxton's the one that's going to help him in the end. A little bit too far back.
Aero's probably got a good enough exit here.
Once again,
to make this work.
Yeah, dumps it again. Hoxton once again just sitting and just kind of hanging out. Outbreaks himself a little bit with the extra pace that he was getting there down the straight.
Yeah, double toe will sometimes give you that extra speed into the braking zone, which you don't quite account for.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was surprised on how quick he was going.
Look at the grip he has, though, on those younger and softer tyres, almost bumping into the back of the Aston Martin. Maybe he did, I'm not sure. But he's certainly got some pace to burn here. And he wants to make that move as soon as he can because Aero, his teammate, is escaping from Dace. He gets an incredibly sideways moment. The fish is having a waggy tail. And he makes the move. But there's no DRS for Hoxton next DRS zone, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, he broke away really quick.
That's a wide moment for Aero. Sideways moment for Hoxton. It's all happening.
Here we go. Scorenzy has brought himself right back in behind race day. Both of them are virtually tied on battery. And Scorenzy's actually going to deploy it here. He's going to take his chance.
He's not close enough.
A little bit too hopeful there. You can see that race day is storing as well. But not much has separated these two guys here.
Aero actually escaping a few more tenths from Hoxton in that last sector. So we'll see which order the Williams end up in. But Dace is now fallen behind both of them in quick succession. Dusty is 3 seconds back from that, and he has Scavney for company now. He'll be hoping his tyres don't pop by their last lap.
Nicky is just pulling right out of the way. And then
I think Scavney is the only person on softs this race to have not spun.
Yeah, I think you're true. Okay, once again, these guys have got no DRS.
That is a really wonky line from Scavney there. I've never seen someone clip that much of the inside curb at that particular turn. However, it hasn't sent him into a spin or anything. Unfortunately for him, the car in front is going to get DRS from a lapped car. Bacon picks up the first penalty of the session. Yeah, Dusty's going to pick up DRS from the lapped Alpine, I believe. That'll help him defend down towards turn 1.
We're still within a half a second here between these two guys up front. Any sort of mistake from Ryan it could be the end of this race. Edwin is still fairly close, but he's been that way for the entire race. So, I mean, we can't expect things to change all too much. But we still do have one more proper attempt for an overtake to come. Shelley and Cake, they're deciding that they want to battle it out now. Cake does come out on top. And we'll see if that continues for their last way around the track. But here we go, potentially the last time that Edwin can get Ryan, but Ryan just got battery for days, so he's just going to dump it here. And it's about as clean of a race that a man can ask for. And Edwin actually holds off of it too.
Yeah, got to within 3 tenths, but it seems like it's race decided at this point, at least for P1 and P2. Got Palmer is very safely there in P3. 2 by 2 in the top 4 at least. Scavney didn't have the great exit here to challenge Dusty on this final DRS front straight. So it looks like many positions are almost decided. Scornsey very close to race day, but not many more opportunities to make that move for P4.
Yeah, he's going to hound him a little bit. Maybe trying to...
Matt passes Bacon.
Yeah, it was going to happen off of the penalty anyways.
True.
We'll see. Maybe Scornsey might try and force race day into something here. Yellow flag there from Palmer up ahead. but Palmer's got quite the gap behind. Hoxton picking up another position with Arrow
Ooh, Arrow's had
finding a little bit
yeah,
of
it must have
issues.
been an issue. Yeah. In fact, there goes 2 more cars. Scavney just about squeaks through right at the death there.
But it will be a
And
Mercedes
Palmer,
round 2.
what happened to Palmer?
Oh my God!
He's
Yeah,
5th.
I saw him lose some
He's out
time.
of fuel.
Oh my God, he is. Wow. He
Scavney with
ran.
a penalty.
He ran out of fuel. Oh my God.
Scavney spun. Has he got a puncture?
Hoxton got Palmer in the end too. Look at the margin between Hoxton and Palmer.
0.003 of a second. Hoxton has made up 15 places since the start of this race. Won't get the hardest charger point. Kelly also gets aero right at the death. Scavney's left the session before finishing.
He picked up a penalty.
He spun as well. I don't see a puncture on that car, but he had been 9th and he comes 14th in the end.
Wow.
It all kicked off there in that last lap.
It was almost...
I think a lot of people predicted a safety car, and therefore the fuel margins would have been close. That really got to Palmer. He had been well in front of race day in P3.
Yeah.
And falls back 3 positions. Helps race day and Scornsey with more points. Oof.
Well, we'll get the podium in here. But wow. What just happened at the end? It was almost like things were happening too quick to even like be prepared for them.
Exactly why they were happening as well.
Yeah.
I was actually going to stay on board with Scavney that entire last lap to see if he got a puncture. But as soon as I saw other stuff happening, I went away from him, and then he spun, or whatever happened to him. So, well, Mercedes dominate the race, 1 and 2, but the action was kind of behind them, really. Ryan with another win, Edwin with another second. Race day was, I think that's the, would he get the driver of the day point? He must have.
Who's that?
Race day?
Yeah, race day gets the hardest charger. Gets 5 in the end with the help from his teammate. But I mean, hats off to Hoxton. I don't think
it was on purpose, let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Absolutely hats off to Hoxton. He's definitely my driver of the day.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, there you go. Ryan with another win in front of his teammate, Edwin, race down the podium. Scornsey somehow escaped to the 4th place, although he's going to have a big challenge in catching up in the final race on points. Hoxton with that incredible drive to 5th from last. Palmer, unfortunate to give up a podium so late by field strategy there. Dace with a racy 7th, although he did seem to struggle on hards. Dusty and Kelly there, as well as Aero making up the top 10, although Aero had been significantly higher not too long ago. Lanzi, Shelley, Cake, Scavney, Sharia there, and Matt all on the lead lap with Bacon, Smith, Frenchie a lap down, and Nicky 2 laps down. But everyone finishing the race.
Oh, Nicky's got some colorful language in the chat there, or in the Division 1 chat.
Oh no.
F this bleep ass game. F rear wing damage. F everything. Oh God. I shouldn't be laughing. It's funny though. I mean, what's funny is funny, right? Let's go. Ryan runs and win the race day. There we go. We get these 3 guys in. We won't do a 4th today. Not going to be too long of an interview. My back is shot. I don't know why. You ever just wake up and you just got a bad back?
Absolutely, that does happen.
Yeah, don't like it.
Well, if it's going to be a short interview thing, I think I'll just let you do it. You handle it this week. So I shall sign out for now. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you next time for the finale.
Yeah, you can't dip next week, though.
I definitely won't next week.
Okay, No worries.
All right, thanks, Crash. I'll see you next time.
Not a problem. Have a good one, my guy.
You too.
All right, let's get these guys in here. Never mind, not yet. Yeah, we'll keep it short and sweet. Haven't eaten dinner. Back a shot. Life is good. As always. Hoping everyone else is as well. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the home stretch to the weekend. And, you know, it's good to have the Thursdays to do this because it's just, it's nice to, you know, welcome people into their final day of work, typically for a lot. Today is typically my Friday, which it is. Got tomorrow off, so it's a good feeling for whoever that does tune in to welcome them in to the weekend. Come aboard. The water is great. But we're just waiting on Juan. Let's pull up the let's pull up delivery one more time here. Not that one. That. Let's do this. No. Let's do a little collage thing. None of these are symmetrical. That is okay. This isn't the greatest quality picture. Screw it, good enough. Such a bad game. iRacing for the win. I never want to touch this game again. Yeah, you know, I hear a lot of people dislike this game, which sucks. Because, you know, newsflash, this whole game helps out our league. And if the game no good, the league suffers. They should get me up into the team there. See what I can produce. But you know what, quickly, let's just go through this. Next week, Bahrain International Circuit, where the finale is being held. Ryan Rods with the solid lead heading into said finale. We'll look to see if he can pull it off there and tie up the overall score with him and Scarenzi. But without further ado, we've got these drivers ready for the interview. Okie day. Ryan. Hello, hello. Mic check.
Check.
You're good, Edwin. Thank you very much. Race day, mic check. And
Checkerino.
Yeah, it worked. Ryan.
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, oh my god, that was such a good mic check. Okay, let's get her going here. It's going to be short and sweet. Got a spine that's in the shape of a question mark right now, so I'd like to get that straightened out here and as well eat. So we will get this one over quickly. A couple questions to each of you. Going to be rapid fire here, so be prepared. Start with you, Ryan Rods. Congratulations on the win. You have locked yourself into, I believe, a top 10 finish in the final race for the Drivers' Championship win in Season 8. Things got to be sounded pretty good for you right now, my guy. Why don't you start and take us through quali?
Well,
and
the
as well
quality started pretty crappy.
And as well as the track, how tough was the track, if you can kind of get into that too?
Well, quality went like pretty bad. Even if I got pole, like the first lap, I totally like butchered it because I spun almost. And then my second lap was kind of mid. And then when I went for my like final lap, I didn't improve like anywhere except the last chicane exit, which I gained like a tenth, and gave me pole. But overall, I think quali I could have had like 2, 3 more tenths, so it was pretty crappy. And the track, honestly, it felt pretty good. If you like tinkered with the setup to just not oversteer at turn 3, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people were fighting it pretty hard today. Do you maybe benefit? Like, do you think that you're like a 10 out of 10 for setups? Like, do you really have faith in your ability to create the setup that needs to be?
Well, I think I can make my like setup for me. And Edwin like shares my driving style. We like an oversteery car, so just use the same setup. But I don't think the rest of the grid will be like able to use it. I've had like people tell me I can't use your setups because they're just too oversteery.
That was actually my nickname in high school, by the way, oversteery car. But I digress. So now going into the final race, you've got a top 10 to bring it home and to draw yourself with Scornsey for Drivers' Championship. And as well as we kind of discussed this last week, you have locked up the Constructors' Championship, so congratulations to that once again. But I mean, going into Bahrain, does it really change things for you, knowing that you don't need to do as much?
No, not really. Just I'll do the same routine. I do it for every week and just hope for the best.
True enough. Thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate it. Like I said, short and sweet. So we'll talk to you next week then.
All right, thank you. See you later.
No worries. All right, Mr. Edwin, another P2 for you. I mean, you've been on fire with podiums this season, but you just can't get on the top step of the podium. I mean, how difficult is it to just follow Ryan like that through the whole race?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard follow Ryan's pace, but I knew if I keep on the DRS zone, I was gonna be able to stick with him. So yeah, I was pushing like crazy. You know, Ryan have great pace, and I was just trying to match his pace. So it went pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you still had a very, very well driven race, for sure. I'm just looking at the numbers here. So this will be your 8th podium of the season, meaning that you podiumed in over half of the races this season. Did you think that you were capable of doing that? I mean, I imagine you were, but you got to be happy with how many times you've got on to the steps this season.
Yes, I'm pretty happy. As I mentioned before, I know I have the pace to be on the top places, but last season was a disaster for me. I had a lot of DNFs and I wasn't able to show myself. So this season, I'm showing myself, with good races and weekends and stuff. So I'm pretty happy. And I know I can do better. So hopefully for next season, I will be fighting for at least 2 or 3 races at the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just consistency kills, and you've really done a lot of that this season. I mean, a couple of races may have not gone your way, but still, I mean, just overall a brilliant display of consistency from you. So, I mean, something to be very proud upon. I think you're one behind your teammate there for most podiums this season. So, you guys are sitting 1-2. With that, you're still just behind Scornsey in the Drivers' Championship. Maybe a little bit too far gone for the Drivers' title, but I mean, is that your main focus now, to try and overtake Scornsey for number 2 spot for the Drivers?
Yes, that will be my next challenge, to be honest. We started the season with the goal of beating McLaren team, because we were like in the same team, GSR, and McLaren team was dogging a lot of trash. So our goal was to beat McLaren. So we did it, and the next challenge will be to get that second place if I can.
Okay, so you guys, I mean, you whooped Edgar so hard you forced him into retirement. Like, what's up with that?
No, I mean, he started playing iRacing, and it seems like Ryan was getting too good as well. So he
Uh,
decided to retire from F1 to, go to iRacing and uh, try to get, a better pace.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, okay. Anywho, thank you very much. I'll talk to you next week as well. And congratulations also to your Constructors Championship, because I don't think I congratulated you. No, I did last week, yeah. So once again, congratulations for your Constructor pull in there. Very well done.
Thanks, man.
Not a problem. All right, race day. Picking up a podium, and with the unfortunate circumstances that had to Hoxit in his qualifying, with Hoxit having an unbelievable race, picking up 15 positions in the end, going all the way up into 5th, I think he finished it. You will get the hardest charger, picking up 5 after all is said and done, as well as a podium. I mean, something to be very happy with there as well. Their race day, very well done.
Yeah, thank you. Alpha deserved the podium today, but Palmer deserved it more. He just didn't put enough fuel in his car, but it sucks what happened, but podium's a podium. You gotta get him when you get him. We were absolute garbage in qualifying because we just sacrificed our qualifying pace for the race, and I think that paid off because once I got around the dirty air, I was genuinely putting the gap on some of the others, but I couldn't gap Scornsy because he was just right on my rear wing for the entire race. But, I kept my head down. I just tried to stay it on the track and go as fast as I could, and it worked. We were going to finish 4th, but then, again, Palmer ran out of fuel, so that became 3rd, which sucks for him because, he's been really showing pace these last 2 rounds, and the fact that he's a threat of going back to Division 2 just infuriates me because I know he is Division 1 worthy, but, that's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, as the infamous song goes. But yeah, you got to be content with how your team has still performed this season. I mean, you and Palmer seem to have a good little partnership there. If he does stay into Division 1, are you looking to recreate that going into Season 9?
Just keep the cars on track. Pick up podiums and maybe even a few wins here and there when we could. And our focus for Bahrain is just try to keep Alpha 3rd in the Constructors Championship, get Palmer to stay here in Division 1, and next week should be fun.
So now, are you, do you think you outperformed how you think you do in Division 1 for your first season?
Well, when you have to take into consideration, I'm racing against all these champions, such as Rod, Scornsy, people who I met can be on my par or just flat out faster than me. For a rookie, I think I've done an okay job, or good job on my part. Like 2 wins, 5 podiums, 2 poles, a hard charger. I'd say that's a pretty good rookie year in my book. Want to thank Alpha, Orlean, Sense Time, Ferrari, Folky, Signa, everyone here on this team. They're the reason that we keep pushing harder and harder every week to try to close the gap to Mercedes, which I'm very convinced that they are taking steroids before every race by this point. But, we're going to try our best to do the best we can at Bahrain next week and move forward for Season 9.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Race Day. Appreciate your time. And best of luck the last race there.
Great. Thank you.
Not a problem. And we'll be hearing from you very soon. But yes, thank you very much for the trio to come in. Thank you. And as well, appreciate it for me allowing to kind of keep this one short and sweet. But best of luck the last race there for you guys, all in Bahrain. Hopefully we'll be hearing from you again. And other than that, if there's anything left to say from you three, then by all means say it now, or I will be closing the stream. Toot sweet.
Hey, Lansy, eat your heart out.
This is my last season. Bye-bye.
Ryan, you clown. What the fuck?
Oh, hold on.
Wow, and he ditches.
Yes, it is. He's going iRacing now for next season.
He's going... Is he going to make Edgar quit that game too?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
Fuck. Well...
Okay. Have a great one.
Thank you, Edgar. You're a beauty.
Bye.
Oh, God. Well, that was an absolute bombshell. Okay, well, I mean, with that being said, what's happening next season for schedule? Well, this is it. So hopefully you are still very interested in everything that is to come here. Miami's back on the grid schedule. Imola as well. Spain, as we were just at today. COTA, Canada. Love to see it. Love to see it. Season 9 is around the corner. But we got to get finished with Season 8. Hopefully, you will be back for that one and for all the future ones to come in the Midwest F1 League. But as per usual, that is about it for us here tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that was on display for you, and hopefully you'll enjoy everything that will be on display in the future. So have a good weekend. Everyone stay safe. Enjoy what is to come. And by all means, have a drink on me. All right.